And now, the After the Bell podcast with Bill Neville and Lee Morgan.
Good evening and welcome, everybody, to episode 4 of the After the Bell podcast. Today is Thursday, February 20th, 2014, and it is a very special day in the history, the long, immense history of the After the Bell podcast, as we welcome our very first guest. He's a longtime friend of mine going back to the grade school days, playing baseball and whatnot. Some of you guys know him on Twitter as @CT_Pontes. I'd like to welcome Corey Pontes as the first ever guest on the ATB podcast. Corey, glad to have you.
Well, all I got to say is thanks for having me, and this is actually my first ever podcast, so if I blow this, that's on you for not knowing the talent.
Wow. Well, I know you're an incredibly knowledgeable wrestling fan, and that's all we want on here. We don't want the casual wrestling fans that don't know what they're talking about. We just want the most knowledgeable people we can have on here, and that's why I chose Lee.
Want fun people.
Well, you're not so fun.
Hey, I'm awesome, okay?
Yeah, I don't know about that. Anyway, so Corey, like I said before, welcome to the show. And Lee and I discussed last week, if you guys all listened to the show, about the WWE Network and what we were looking forward to the most. I'd like to get a couple of answers from you. What is the first pay-per-view you're going to watch back when WWE Network launches next week?
Well, I mean, there's so many of them. Actually, I looked at the list. It was out a couple of days ago. I think it was on WWE.com. And the first thing I looked for was to see if Over the Edge 99 would be there. And shockingly, it actually was. So I'm wondering.
It's funny we mentioned that, too. I didn't think it was going to be on there.
So, I mean, I got to assume they're going to edit out the death of Owen Hart.
Was that ever actually caught on video? I didn't see the pay-per-view live.
Neither did I. I don't think it was.
Yeah, I think it was like he was setting up for the entrance. I don't think it was during his entrance, because I remember JR saying something about it was doing the Godfather's entrance or something. Whoever Blue Blazer was facing that night, and all of a sudden out of the corner of his eye he saw something fall. Right. So I don't think it was ever caught on video.
I guess thank God for that. But that was just out of curiosity. I checked at that. But there's so many pay-per-views I love. WrestleMania 9 I can remember watching.
Wow. Throwback. 21 years ago. Holy God.
Yeah. Oh, God, that's 21 years ago.
Well, 30 is coming up this year. Just simple math. I mean, we know you're a mathematician and all.
Oh, yeah. My math skills aren't as sharp as they could be. But otherwise, I think, honestly, one of my favorite matches of all time was Money in the Bank 2011.
Oh, yes.
Cena versus Punk. I love that match. Me and my pop watched it. It was phenomenal. So that might be the first one I go back to watch.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, the crowd at that pay-per-view alone made you want to watch it.
Crazy.
You could never hear, WWE will never allow it, but you would never hear chants for somebody over their music. Like when after CM Punk's music hit, he came out, he was in the ring and just kind of playing to the crowd. You could hear CM Punk over the music. You couldn't even hear the music anymore. Like, that's insane. That's something you never see. What show or program are you most excited about?
I want to say Legends House. That seems like the popular pick around here. Everybody's really excited for it, but
it's quite the eclectic group of characters for that show.
I don't know if it's really getting me going. I don't know if it's really getting my goat. What interests me the most is probably WrestleMania Rewind. I thought it was really interesting that they'd have the behind the scenes look at what the guys were thinking. Breaking kayfabe, telling you what their mindset was going into the match. So I think that's the one I'm looking forward to the most.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's two great choices, and like I said, mine was going to be Bad Blood '97 because that's the first pay-per-view I ever watched.
Oh boy!
It's when Kane debuted in the Undertaker Shawn Michaels Hell in a Cell match, and she said the '95 Rumble because that was her first pay-per-view watching when Shawn Michaels went from first to last.
Yes.
You know what? I think I want to make
an
addendum to what one I want to watch. I want to watch Survivor Series '92. That was my first pay-per-view. I think it was on the Friday after Thanksgiving. And the match that I remember most. So first there was Yokozuna versus Virgil, where he squashed him in about 1 second. Then there was Bret Hart versus Michaels for the WWE Championship was on the line, or WWF back then. And Michaels at the time was the Intercontinental Champion. And, Bret went on to win. He was my favorite growing up. So, I want to change my mind in Survivor Series 92.
It's a great choice.
Oh, Nails versus Big Boss Man, too.
Big Boss Man. I love Big Boss Man. Sad to hear he died a few years ago, but
God,
it seems like a lot of our favorites are just kind of dying off. I mean, the obvious ones you first think of are Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit, which we're not allowed to say, or we'll just call him CB.
His content
or
is
the
gonna be
Rabid
shown
Wolverine.
on the
I
network.
heard that. And I heard there was going to be some sort of disclaimer or something before saying that.
This guy's a murderer. Watch accordingly.
I think it was. I think it was supposed to say something along the lines of WWE's depicts characters and not real life personalities type of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Whatever.
This is not the actual guy who killed his family. It's just
He was
a
a
character.
great wrestler, not
He
a
really
great guy,
was.
but
Terrible person.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys, not to go on a tangent, have ever read Ring of Hell, the book?
No.
no.
It gave a little background on that guy. He
Oh, really?
was crazy guy.
I met him about 3 weeks before he killed his
God.
family, so that kind of freaked me out when
boy.
the truth came out after the Benoit tribute show that they mistakenly had the next night.
Oh, my God.
Oh man, Vince is really kicking himself in the ass for that one.
Empty arena. Not a good idea.
Yeah, no. Like I was saying, the first couple of guys you think of are Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit, but we just had one recently, 2 days ago. Some of you who are pretty big wrestling fans, he hasn't been around in a while, but Viscera or Mabel or whatever you want to call him.
World's largest love machine.
Big Daddy V. Exactly. He unfortunately passed away at the age of 43 from a heart attack. I mean, it's sad to see the guys that you watch on TV dying so young.
Yeah, it's crazy. I actually dusted off my Nintendo 64 earlier this week, and I started
WrestleMania 2000?
No Mercy, actually.
Okay, all right.
So I started doing a 32-man Royal Rumble, and me and my buddy just started counting all the dead guys that were entering.
Oh,
it was
my
like
God, how many?
Test, Eddie Guerrero, Crash Holly, like
Oh,
Big
wow.
Boss Man, so many guys.
Crash Holly, wow. I forgot about that one. It's sad. I mean, Viscera you can kind of see. I mean, he was a huge dude.
Yeah, he was enormous.
And he wasn't Brock Lesnar huge. He was
I eat a lot and don't exercise huge.
perfectly put. So unfortunately, you could kind of see something like that looming in the future for him. Just sad circumstances to see guys dying so young. Anyway, off the awful topic of death, last week's ATB poll question of the week was, who do you think will be the next person inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2014? A couple of shout-outs here for our Twitter follower listeners. At the Truman said Demolition. Interesting. And a couple of our loyal listeners, they've answered the ATB poll before. At Non-Hanley, at BoogieBomb91, and at DArm91 all said Paul Bearer, which Lee and I both said on last week. Considering there was two main eventers, there was a diva, I figured it would probably be a manager next. But breaking news came out today. Nothing confirmed by WWE or himself yet, but word is spreading like wildfire that the next entrant will be none other than Scott Hall.
Hey, yo. That was his catchphrase, guys.
We got you. I got
We got you.
What are your thoughts on that?
I love it. I mean, I'm sure you guys probably saw a couple, maybe 2 years ago, there was a segment on ESPN about
Oh, God, the 30 for 30
Hall.
thing
yeah,
or whatever
the
it was.
state
Yeah.
of his life, and it was just, as you know, wrestling fans growing up, it was sad to see how far he'd fallen and how terrible his life had, what it had turned into. But to see the way he's bounced back with DDP Yoga, and he seems like he has a good relationship with his son. They're working together. I mean, I love it. I think it's a great
He looks
redemption
like a great
story.
wrestler.
He really does. So I'm all in favor of that. I mean, we talked about it earlier. I had a couple suggestions. I thought, obviously be Randy Savage, but it seems like he would probably be a headliner.
Right, and I don't think they would overload one class. I mean,
Right.
you kind of want to save. Although I'm hearing, too, on Twitter that next year's headliner will be The Rock.
I just read that.
Did you just read that?
today.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, you got Jake the Snake. You got God, I'm blanking right here.
Warrior.
Well, thank you. Ultimate Warrior. As the two headliners for this year, you got Lita, and then now it sounds like it's going to be Scott Hall. I can't imagine they would throw Macho Man into that.
Yeah, I think he's too prominent. I had another one. This is, more just me fantasy booking. I'd like to see the whole Brood be inducted into the Hall of
Yes.
Fame and Bloodbath.
I think
Vince
that's-
McMahon on the way up.
Unfortunately, I think that's the only way Christian gets in.
Yeah.
He had a great tag team run with Edge, but Edge also had the amazing singles career after that. Christian, not so much. I mean, he was kind of floating in the mid card for all those years. But I do like that. Have Gangrel, Edge, and Christian to go in there.
Gangrel, you seen him lately?
No.
He's not been working out to the
Oh, really?
proper extent.
I haven't seen a picture. Is he huge?
Huge. Not huge, but fat.
Bigger.
Real name David Heath, by the way. Trivia question.
Wow. God, you come full of knowledge, and I love it. I love it. Maybe we'll have to add you to the lineup full time.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, don't tell me with a good time, Bill.
You know that's what I do right. So, like I said, one of our followers said Demolition. 3 of them said Paul Bear, and now it sounds like Scott Hall is going to be our next inductee. And that furthers rumors that Lee was telling me about earlier that the possibility of the NWO getting inducted, since Hulk Hogan will be present at this Monday's Raw, helping launch the WWE Network. What are your thoughts on that?
I would kill to see that.
Yeah?
Yeah. Well, you got Hogan coming up, obviously, on Monday Night Raw.
Mm-hmm.
You can speculate just a little bit that Scott Hall is going to be with him. It'll be a little surprise, but I love it.
Only problem I see with that is if NWO gets inducted, there's no doubt that Kevin Nash will tear his quad on the way up.
She said the exact same thing right before you came.
We'll walk up the steps and tear it.
I was so pissed off when I saw him come out in the Royal Rumble again this year.
Get lost.
Granted, were you there in 2011?
Yeah, I loved it in 2011.
It was amazing.
That
was the greatest pop I've ever heard live that I can think of, other than Raw after WrestleMania last year when Dolph Ziggler's music hit.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was great.
But I didn't like it. There's too much crap going on in the Royal Rumble now. I mean, why have guys like Kevin Nash or JBL or any of or El Torito in the Royal Rumble and discard guys like Bray Wyatt, Daniel Bryan? Granted, they had matches early that night, but you've seen guys have matches earlier in the night that are in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, that usually doesn't hold anybody back. I will come in and step up for my boy El Torito. Really enjoyed that segment. He was phenomenal.
He's fun to watch, but I mean, you know full well he's not winning the Royal Rumble.
No. Well, hey, Ray won it, so never say never.
Well, touche. So going back to the ATB poll question of the week, we have a new one for you guys, and the question this week will be: who walks out of the Elimination Chamber with the the WWE World Heavyweight Championship? I told you that I would mess that up at some point.
I always mess it up.
It's a mouthful.
The WWE World Heavyweight Championship. We're going to answer that question on our parts a little bit later on when we're doing the Elimination Chamber preview. But tweet us your answer at ATBWrestling and use the hashtag ATBPoll. That's ATBPOLL. And now that we have the intro of Corey and our little discussion out of the way, let's go to our recap and analysis of Monday Night Raw. All right, so that's the Raw theme.
I love that theme.
I do too.
Let me buy that, Jim Johnston. I want that theme so badly.
Believe it or not, it's not Jim Johnston. It's an outside artist.
It's not featuring Jim?
I don't think so.
Can he go in the Hall of Fame, by the way? He has made some of the most amazing songs.
I've never said it on the podcast, but I've said that a million times. And
he's unbelievable.
Why have a celebrity wing where you have somebody like Pete Rose or you have somebody like... is David Arquette in the Hall of Fame?
No.
No?
No.
I pray that he's not.
No.
Who's the other awful celebrity that was
Tyson's
inducted?
Drew Carey's in there.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. I couldn't remember to save my life. But why have those guys in the WWE Hall of Fame when you have Jim Johnson sitting here, who was on Stone Cold Steve Austin's podcast recently? I don't know if you listened to it.
That was really good.
Listen to that.
It was awesome just hearing the history of how Stone Cold's theme was made, how many thousands of different songs he's made for WWE since he started 30 years ago. He's the man behind the piano and the guitar and the drums and the bass and whatever else he plays.
The whole orchestra.
Literally. And it's just pure genius what comes out of his little studio down in Stamford.
Yeah, I mean, Brock Lesnar's theme is the most perfectly tailored theme song ever written.
Okay.
That is amazing. Going on the record.
Very simple and to the point. Like we were discussing before, a good theme song has something at the beginning that catches you. And similar to Stone Cold Steve Austin's theme song. God, I can't even talk tonight. Stone Cold's theme song, we had the glass break. You have Rock's theme song where if you smell, like it just catches the crowd right away. And then you get these jobbers or these lower mid-card guys who just have like a regular song, and it doesn't catch the crowd like it's supposed to. But Jim Johnson's made so many of those classics over the years, like Bret Hart with the guitar riff at the beginning. Mm-hmm. There's so many more that I can't even name right now, but like you said, Jim Johnson should be in the Hall of Fame. I completely agree with you.
He should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and I'm not joking when I say that.
And that too. And then he'd be the king of Cleveland, not Dolph Ziggler.
He did win that match.
He did.
That's his right.
The Battle of Cleveland on Raw a couple of weeks ago, beating The Miz.
I despise Miz. We'll get to that, though.
Okay. All right. Let's get to it now. Why do you despise Miz?
He just hasn't done anything since WrestleMania 27. I mean, he's so boring. He's stupid looking. He doesn't do anything for me anymore. And I was behind him on his heel run.
Yeah.
Actually, I had an idea. He should hire Rusev as his bodyguard and start a push that way. I mean, he's better when he's the sneaky, manipulative, wussy heel.
Yeah,
and he's terrible as a face. I did like his movie. His Christmas movie was excellent.
I didn't see
Christmas
it.
Christmas Showdown or something.
I can't say I saw it.
Christmas Bounty. Excuse me, Christmas Bounty.
Oh, wow.
Kind of a good movie.
Might have to check it out now that you gave that fantastic recommendation. Thumbs up and thumbs down. Or 2 thumbs up, 2 thumbs down. Or one of each.
1 thumb up if you're a wrestling fan. If not, it's the biggest piece of crap ever made.
Sounds good to me. Like you said, Miz was great when he was a sneaky heel at Royal Rumble 2011 when Alex Riley was in the match, and Miz snuck up behind Cena, eliminated him, and ran out.
Oh, right.
That was a perfect example of Miz being that sneaky, awesome heel. Anyway, let's get to our coverage of Monday Night Raw. Lee, what do you have on your docket as far as first discussion?
Well, how John Cena, not the Authority, opened up Raw.
Okay.
It's a little strange.
It is strange. It hasn't happened in a while.
Well, considering the Authority wasn't even there, so...
This is true. And Kane was there representing him as their director of operations.
Wouldn't you want Stephanie and Hunter there, on a Monday night?
On a go-home show? You'd think so, right?
Something's fishy.
Am I the only one that fast-forwards through Cena's promos? I cannot stand him on the mic. I'm so sick of it.
See, I think he's really good on the mic, personally. Does he repeat a lot of stuff?
He just says the same thing every time he goes out.
Right. But, I mean, he's one of the more captivating guys that they have on the mic.
I do love him. I really do. I hate when he's in the thick of the title picture.
Mm-hmm.
I like when he's at the high part of the card, but he's not screwing up and getting his 17,000th title reign. Mm-hmm. And as a person, I like him.
I think it's at 14 now, but close.
Yeah. There's a few off. You know how I am with math.
Exactly.
I like him at the end of Raw, doing promos, not in the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you guys. It's nice to see Cena out of the title picture.
Yeah, I like when he's out.
Because when he's back in it, which inevitably he's going to be, it's refreshing, and it's not the same old S word like the crowd's been chanting recently.
Okay, so there's no swearing on this podcast? I almost slipped a couple times.
You could definitely swear. I don't care, but if I catch myself, I don't do it.
Right.
Don't worry, I swear all the time. It's fine. I'm sorry, what did you say before? My mind is so gonzo tonight.
I totally forgot.
Okay.
You like when Cena closes the show?
Yes.
Oh, that's right. Thank you.
I'm so glad
I'm the glue to the
now.
show, guys.
Keeping us together. Thank you. Let's see. I got some over here. I want to discuss Randy Orton's not so much losing streak, but his losing ways as of late, because he did beat Christian, but the
huge victory.
Captain Charisma. I am a peep, by the way. He only beat Christian, but lost to all the other 4 guys that are in the Elimination Chamber this upcoming Sunday. He lost to Cesaro on SmackDown. Lost to Daniel Bryan. That was huge. And obviously John Cena. And
obviously.
Thank you, Sheamus. My God. Just shows how weak the WWE scene has been recently. Granted, Cesaro's a future main eventer.
Oh, yeah.
But when you have Cesaro and Christian in the Elimination Chamber for the world title.
And there's not even 2 chambers. Like, you can put those poopy guys in when there's 2 chambers, but one chamber, you're putting Cesaro. Well, you know what? I can see the case for Cesaro, but for Christian, that's a joke.
He's a throw-in. I mean, you know full well he's not going to win because he lost to Randy Orton. He's the only one that lost to Randy Orton, so they wouldn't have him go over anyway.
Yeah, if he wins, I will never watch WWE again until Monday night.
Christian Batista at WrestleMania.
That's going to put some asses in the seats.
Because that's what it would lead to if Christian was to win.
Terrifying.
Oh, God. I don't think anybody would remain in their seats at the Superdome for that match. They'd have to go on first.
Yeah, honestly. Terrible.
It'd have to be like Sheamus and Bryan a couple years ago for the world title when they kicked off WrestleMania and ended in 18 seconds. I was completely surprised by that. I loved it, though. And that kick-started Daniel Bryan's career.
It really did.
And it did worlds for Daniel Bryan.
Just to bring it back to Orton, I'm kind of torn on this. I hate when champions lose all the time when they have the belt. I think that's
especially
bad for
clean.
The product. Yeah, clean. On the other hand, I'm a huge Orton mark for those who know me, so it kind of makes it look like he's going to win.
And it's not as of recent. It's as of like pre-evolution.
Right. Yeah, this is like 02, 03 we're talking with RKO.
Now, Corey's a long-time Orton guy.
He's good looking too. Yeah, I said it. He is.
He's a good looking dude. He deserves to be the face of the company, I guess.
He does, and honestly, even on the mic, he's gotten better. He just like accepts that he sucks, and you're like, I don't know if you read A Masked Man. He's all about the reality era, and I think that Orton just accepts that people hate him, and he's gotten everything's been given to him, so he kind of plays into that, and I think he says funny things on the mic these days.
He sure does. Moving on to another segment from Raw, the Shield keeps having these amazing backstage promos with Renee Young. Dean always seems to speak up and say something hilarious, and Roman, a man of very few words and a very deep voice, baby girl, and whatever else he says to Renee.
Love Renee too.
I do awesome. Too. And I followed her when she was on the Score show with Arda Ocal and Jimmy Corderas up in Canada.
Oh, I listened to that too.
Yeah,
I used to love the Daily Dose.
It was awesome.
Loved it.
That show was great, and obviously she was Renee Paquette, and obviously WWE likes to change things to how they want them. Yeah. So now she changed her name to Renee Young. It's easier to say, easier to spell for all the idiots out there.
There are a lot of them that watch wrestling. No offense.
Trust me, if you ever been to a live event, you see some creatures. Mm-hmm. I can only imagine what it's like in the South.
Oh God.
Never mind going to TD Garden for an event where you see some interesting cats, but I can only imagine what it's like going in the South. But back to the Shield backstage promo with Renee Young. We have a little audio for you in case you guys missed it, and here it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my guest joining me now, The Shield. Roman, tonight you're going one-on-one with the world's strongest man, Mark Henry. I mean, this is a man...
Mark Henry. I'm surprised Mark Henry even showed up tonight after the beating I gave him last week.
Dean, what are you talking about, man? You lost.
Look, Mark Henry's no walk in the park, all right? I softened him up a little bit for you, but you'll find that out tonight. But I guess you think you can do better.
I know I can.
Okay, don't you think that the three of you all need to get on the same page before your huge six-man tag match against the Wyatt family?
I appreciate what you're trying to do here, I really do. But you gotta understand, we are always on the same page. And as for the Wyatts in Elimination Chamber, the Shield was born and bred for war. That'll never change, sweetheart.
Bray Wyatt and his little family, they're an illusion. Their mind games don't work on us because the Shield is real.
We don't experience fear, and we don't back down. Believe that, and believe in the Shield.
So that is the Shield for you guys. That was an interesting backstage segment with Renee Young. Dean's one-liners are fantastic.
He's amazing. He's my favorite member of the Shield.
I agree, 100%.
I remember one random match. It was some combination of the Shield versus like Sheamus, Chris Jericho. And Jericho had him in the walls, and he's on the ground. I wish this was a video podcast. I could show you the face he's making. He was like sticking his tongue out, doing this crazy stuff.
We might have to find a GIF of that and post it to the ATBWrestling Twitter.
Yeah, he's great.
On a side note, I'm a huge Shield mark. She's a huge Shield mark, and we all love them. And
right there with you.
I went to New York City this past weekend and for Valentine's Day with the girl I'm currently seeing, Kim. Yes, she probably got me the coolest present of all time.
Yes, she did.
And Lee would agree with this. We're going to be traveling about later in March, and out of nowhere, she gave me tickets to a WWE live event in New Jersey, which we're going to be going through. But that's not all she got me. She got me a meet and greet with the Shield.
No,
Yes.
really? How do you even get that?
I don't know. She magically pulled it off.
amazing.
She's amazing, and I'm so excited. And like, not a lot of people know because I know because I'm going to meet them. But a lot of people are saying that Elimination Chamber is going to be the end of the Shield. But then again, why would WWE continue having meet and greets with the Shield if they're going to be breaking up?
That's a good point.
I mean, you never know. It could be a different sort of meet and greet where it's, like Lee said, it could be one at a time or one less guy. It could be without Roman Reigns. Maybe it could just be Seth and Dean, which I'd be okay with, but...
Need Roman, come on.
Yeah, exactly. Baby girl. Yeah. But yeah, so that was the greatest present ever. I wanted to tell everybody, all the listeners, that I am seeing the coolest girl ever.
Second coolest behind my girlfriend. What up, Lindsay?
Lee, what about your girlfriend?
No.
Moving on. I was complaining that the Cena Cesaro match as it was going on during Raw wasn't plugged in as the main event. But then again, I forgot about the obligatory melee that happens at the end of every go home Raw.
Have a Donnybrook.
I mean, slobber knocker or whatever JR used to call it.
The world is watching.
Sorry.
It's my JR impression of Phil Time when there's dead airspace.
I'm sorry, dead airspace. We can edit this out. Like I was saying, I was complaining about that match and how it wasn't the main event because it was clearly the main event of Raw. It was one of the best matches I've seen in a long time from John Cena, and Cesaro had a lot to do with that. I mean, Cesaro's freakishly strong for how tall and lanky he looks. And I was telling Lee on Twitter, I said there's a better chance of something. I forget exactly what I said. What did I say?
I have no idea, but I was pulling for that Cesaro swing.
I said there was a better chance of seeing something than Cena getting in the Cesaro swing, and he reversed it twice, so I thought I was right.
It was good.
And then finally he got swung. It was nice to see.
And I was just say, I did trash Cena a little bit earlier in the show, but he always does put on good matches.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why people say you can't wrestle. You can actually wrestle pretty well.
No, I mean, people bring up the 5 moves of doom and whatever, too.
Everybody has that.
But you go...
Even D-Bry has that.
Exactly. You go back in time and you look at guys like Rock or Stone Cold. I mean, Rock was he was rock bottom, people's elbow, sharpshooter, spine buster, DDT. That was it. Pretty much it. And Stone Cold had the stunner, the Luthez press.
Mudhole stomping.
And stomping it dry.
Oh, always. He's not going to leave any water in there. Come on. But, and Cena's always willing to put the younger guys over, too. He put over D-Bry, Punk, Ziggler at one point, unless I just made that up.
And I don't know if you listened to Stone Cold Steve Austin's podcast, but if you listen to this past week's one, John Cena was on, and he said the exact same thing. He's always looking for a dance partner. He's always looking to put guys over. And he has no creative control. So it's all these people who are complaining that Cena's always winning or Super Cena. It's out of his control. And he was very honest in this interview with Stone Cold. I'd suggest you guys listen to it.
I did.
Yeah, I know you did. You're all on top of this stuff, which I like because I like discussing this kind of thing. But back to the John Cena versus Cesaro match. I mean, it was the most exciting Raw match I've seen in a long time. You legitimately thought that Cesaro was going to win the match for most of that match. And unfortunately, yes, it did make Cesaro look very strong, putting up a hell of an effort against John Cena. But for him to go down, it didn't look that bad.
That AA reversal he did where he just basically jumped off Cena's back was incredible. Absolutely loved it.
Punted him in the face.
Yep.
Yeah, that was so cool.
I think next to Roman Reigns' Superman diving punch, I think Cesaro's lift and an uppercut thing is probably the best move in wrestling right now.
Love that.
And his finish is pretty sweet too.
Yeah, it is.
God, I can't think of it.
Not the Dominator.
Do you know what it is?
No.
I'm blanking too.
Yeah, I forget.
Yeah. Somebody help us. I wish this was live.
Somebody could move sucks. Move on.
Whatever. Some more news that broke today. Vince McMahon held a conference call today. I'd imagine for WWE shareholders, since they are a publicly traded company, reporting their quarterly earnings and whatnot. But this is the first time Vince has spoken publicly about the sudden departure of CM Punk. Vince was quoted as saying, "He's taking a sabbatical, let me just put it that way." By him saying that, it doesn't say Punk left the company. It leaves the door open for a potential Punk return. Who knows when? I mean, it would be in Punk's best interest to return before or at WrestleMania. Sometime afterwards, or maybe the Raw afterwards, where it's always a electrifying crowd.
Crazy crowd.
Place would explode if he came out. What were we discussing a couple weeks ago? Somebody said something about the Authority coming out to CM Punk's theme song, and just trolling the hell out of everybody.
That would be awesome.
Didn't think it was us you were expecting, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That would be.
Did you not get your way?
Oh God, that would be fantastic.
I hate Triple H and love him so much at the same time.
Exactly.
I really do.
He's done a lot for the company.
Absolutely.
I'm pretty happy that he's the guy that is leading WWE into the future. I mean, from everything he's helped push, like the WWE Development Center down in Florida and NXT and
signing Sin Cara.
Okay, touche.
Oh, they got another better one in now.
You win some, you lose some. I mean, it is Hunico now, so it's not the original guy.
Why the hell was he so bad? He should have been amazing, first of all, Sin Cara.
I never got the whole mood lighting thing.
Yeah,
I never understood that.
I didn't get that. That's
why they started doing that. I mean, was it supposed to be kind of like an advantage for Sin Cara? I don't really know. Because even when you're attending live, it's tough to see the match. Never mind on TV.
Yeah, I don't get it.
It messes with your eyes.
But it happens. Stupid things get put on TV by WWE all the time. For instance, Santino and Emma and Fandango and Summer Rae. I'm getting really tired of that. I'd like to see Emma and Summer Rae get in the ring together.
Watch NXT.
Exactly.
And you will.
Well, on WWE television. They need to be seen worldwide. I don't know if you've ever seen these two wrestle before, but they're really good.
I'm a huge fan of Summer Rae's. And Evolution, I don't know much about her. Dance moves are, leave something to be desired, but I'm guessing that's the point.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, but just on the matter of Fandango, from beating Chris Jericho at WrestleMania to jobbing out to Santino on Raw, like what the hell?
How the mighty fall quickly. Look what happened to Zack Ryder too. And it's the same thing.
Zack Ryder,
the
is a
woo woo
different
kid.
Zach.
Poor kid wins the U.S. title over Ziggy at TLC. Place goes nuts for him. Internet's clamoring for him to. It's almost not as big, but kind of the same boat as Daniel Bryan right now. The internet's just pushing for him to get pushed, and it happened a little bit briefly, and now it's just nothing. There's no Zack Ryder anywhere to be seen. He changed his hair color. He's not Long Island IZ anymore, I don't think.
He doesn't bleach his hair anymore.
He doesn't spike it up. Doesn't have the internet championship.
No.
Well, once John Cena boned his girlfriend and Kane pushed him off the stage, that was it. Sorry, Zach. Back to LI, bro.
Well played. Well played. Before we went on, not on the air, but on recording, I was discussing a true Mark moment that I would love to see at Elimination Chamber. We haven't seen Randy Orton rival with CM Punk in a long time. Like Lee said, it was about 3 or 4 years or so.
Yeah.
Just speculating, and this is in all likelihood not going to happen, but what if Elimination Chamber somehow comes down to Randy Orton and Daniel Bryan, and then all of a sudden CM Punk's music hits. The Target Center in Minneapolis explodes, but Punk's nowhere to be seen. But then Bryan hits Orton with a roll-up or something from behind and picks up the victory, leading to a Punk-Orton rivalry and putting Bryan in the main event at WrestleMania that everyone wants.
Yeah, we haven't seen a Punk. I mean, I know Punk and Orton had that rivalry, what was it, 08, 09? Punk, there's pre-2011 Summer Punk promo and post in my mind. So I'd love to see CM Punk as the guy and Orton as the guy feud. I think there'd be some legs there.
Absolutely. And both of them are great in the ring together, or would be great in the ring together. Anything else you guys have to add from Raw Monday?
Reigns versus Mark Henry.
Okay.
Well,
I didn't understand that booking, and we were discussing that. Why Roman Reigns is taking on Mark Henry, and then Bray Wyatt takes on
The Los Matadores.
Los Matadores.
Ole!
Yeah, Ole people.
Ole!
Their music's pretty good too. Is that a Jim Johnson production too?
I would imagine it probably is.
Another shout out to Jim.
Double J.
Yeah, Mark Henry versus Roman Reigns. I feel like that could have been on a bigger stage than just a random Monday Night Raw throwaway match.
Right. And obviously, it was to get Roman Reigns over, but I just don't understand why you're going to the level to put Roman Reigns over like that, but then who's arguably your hottest guy in WWE right now in Bray Wyatt, having him take on two kind of not so much jobbers, but jobber tag team.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
I'm not sure where that came from. Same goes with the booking of having Rey Mysterio as number 30 in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, no.
Poor guy was destined for failure.
Retire, Ray. I'm sorry. You were cool. How people get themselves stuck in the 619 position. I know it's fake. Listen, I understand that. Read the scouting report before the match. Don't get in that position. You're never in that position except when you're wrestling against Ray. Like, read the scouting report.
Well, I mean, come on, man. He gets up in the Hurricane Rana and sweeps you into that position. I mean...
Yeah, I mean, that's like one of 7,000 unlikely impossible moves he does, so I guess I don't know why I'm even saying it.
I mean, he did it to Big Show once. I mean, it's got to be pretty powerful. When Ray had his world title run back in 04, 05,
oh, God.
06 when he was...
And eliminated Orton from the That was terrible.
When he was...
Dark moment for me.
When he was riding off the coattails of Eddie Guerrero's death, unfortunately. But that happens. But wrestling is real to me, no matter what you say.
I just want to thank each and every one of y'all for what you do to your bodies. I watch that like twice a week at least. By the way, that guy sent wrestling fans like back to the dark ages for how they're considered in the public. I hate that guy. And I love him.
He's awesome though. He's awesome.
Hey, take it easy, man. Terry Funk trying to calm people down.
Back to, I'm sorry, we're all over the place for this show.
Yeah, it's my fault. Sorry, guys.
No, it's totally fine. We have another clip lined up for you guys. The Wyatt appeared on the screen while the Shield was in the ring, and Bray had another classic promo, essentially calling out the Shield, and then the Shield called out the Wyatt family, and sure enough, they came out. And here's how that went down.
Got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Down in my heart. Down in my heart. I got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Down in my heart to stay. You know, as our day of reckoning inches closer, I can't help but feel this childlike excitement building up in me. The clock is ticking. Your defeat, it will not come in vain. Your shattered bones will pave the streets of my kingdom, and from my throne, I'm going to turn them all. And I can't help but wonder, Shield, I must ask you, in the end, was all of this worth it? Are you willing to die for this? Because if you're not, you've already lost.
I got a pretty good idea. How about you come out here and talk that noise?
Funny, you should say that. We were thinking the exact same thing. Run.
Well, that was incredible. Those guys are about as good as it gets as far as promos right now.
When he said, "Are you willing to die?" I was like, "What? What are you talking about? Are you willing to die?" Because of course he's not willing to die.
And then following it up with, "Because if you're not, you've already lost."
Yeah, if he's already inside my head, I can only imagine how the Shield are feeling. going into this Sunday at the Elimination Chamber.
At the Target Center in Minnesota.
That's right. Joe Mauer will be there. Spoke to him earlier this week.
Oh, yeah?
No.
I was going to ask you if you were boys with Joe Mauer, but
I wish.
I was going to be excited for you for a second. But that's pretty much it. I'm looking forward to that match the most. No, obviously next to the Elimination Chamber for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship.
Good job.
Got it right.
Perfectly said.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Very Paul Heyman of me. Always get everything right. I'm definitely looking forward to that match most out of, aside from the world title match in the Elimination Chamber, because I think it's just going to be an absolute bloodbath. It's going to be the first time you see. Now, what are the stipulations? Is there any sort of stipulation? Is it a tag match, or is it just like
I think it's a free for all.
Is it a free for all? Because I haven't heard anything. I hope it's not just a regular tag match. I'd love to see them explore the entire arena.
Yeah, little falls count anywhere / no disqualifications.
Yeah,
hardcore match / all the same thing. But they call them different things.
Dean
Perfectly
Ambrose
said.
Death match.
Dean Ambrose death match. Is this where he dies?
A DADM would be huge.
You haven't seen a Dean Ambrose death match, have you?
I have not.
You gotta. No.
You have to send me a link.
Oh yeah, it gets a little bloody.
You post one on the ATB Twitter.
I will.
How about that?
It gets really bloody.
Ooh, God, poor Dean.
Like saws and stuff. And
oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
like Mick Foley, Terry Funk kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
Oh Jesus.
Japanese deathmatch situation.
Barbed wire ropes.
Everything.
Oh.
I can't imagine how anybody did that.
Mick Foley must have the worst CTE in history right now.
Probably.
Like, oh my God, the amount of smashes he's taken to the head is incredible.
Yeah, I mean, have you guys seen the new Mick Foley documentary that's on Netflix?
No, I haven't.
It's really good, and it's amazing that he's actually still living. Aside from all the blood loss and the concussions and the missing extremities, and I just don't get it.
I mean, here I go again getting us off track, but
it's fine.
In Royal Rumble, I think it was 2000, when Rock hit him 50 times in the head when he was handcuffed.
Yeah,
like oh my God.
And the SummerSlam in Boston in 2006, he took on Sabu and took all the barbed wire and the blood and the match with Edge at WrestleMania 22.
That's right.
When he went through the fiery table. The first one everybody thinks of is when he faced Undertaker in Hell in a Cell, when he got tossed off into the announce table, and where he, by God, as JR's witness, he was broken in half.
Might not have been his worst bump of the night either.
No, the second one was far worse when he went through the top of the cage. I don't know, even on the DVD it goes over that, and some of the guys were shocked that he was alive.
That's it. He's dead. That's what,
and then he got up and finished
King
the match.
Said, yeah. Then walked himself out.
They tried to put him on a stretcher and dragged him out about 20 feet, and then all of a sudden he got off the stretcher. He was like, "Nope, I'm good. I'm good. I'm gonna finish this, whether I die or not. Who cares about my kids at home? It's fine."
Jeez.
Anyway, where were we?
We were finishing up Raw thoughts. Then I just took us on a ride.
No, it was a fun ride though. But now it is time for our official Elimination Chamber predictions. And here is the official Elimination Chamber theme. It is called Doomsday by Nero. Yeah, it's pretty much that on a loop.
Yeah, actually, that's not by Nero. Bill and Lee made that song 5 minutes before the podcast started.
We made it.
I was just messing with my keyboard upstairs and just recording a couple of noises. I tried to do my best Jim Johnson impression, but obviously it wasn't good enough.
He's in rarefied air, so getting close to him would be a huge achievement.
It would be, absolutely. So the first match for Elimination Chamber, we know this is going to be the first match because it's the Elimination Chamber kickoff match, which will be live on YouTube and whatever else they're going to show it on. And it's Cody Rhodes and Goldust against Ryback or Curtis Axel and Ryback.
I can't wait to not watch that.
I hate Curtis Axel.
So do I.
If you're gonna suck Curtis, at least go to the gym. Like now he's flabby. Like no. If you're gonna be terrible, go to the gym and be good. He's a pretty good technical wrestler.
Yeah, I mean, The Rock when he came back, he said that he was his training partner in the ring, getting him back in shape. Yeah, it's crazy.
But he has about as much charisma as his table, unfortunately.
if you're gonna, they should put it in his contract to be like, hey, if you're gonna get your gut's gonna be an inch over your singlet or whatever you're wearing, you're gonna be called Michael McGillicuddy again.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Let's call him Michael McGillicuddy. He's Mr. Perfect's son, but we'll have him this random name.
Yeah,
doomed from the start.
Pretty much. Yeah, and he was Michael McGillicuddy for way too long too. And if it was just a brief stint, fine. But when he was in Nexus and he was in the limelight, and
he was a tag champ.
He was.
He used to wear a generic black snap backwards hat to the ring. Not a good look. When
yeah.
you and Nikki Bella have the same look, not a good thing.
The Nexus, I mean, look what they've produced.
I love the Nexus.
You got guys like Daniel Bryan. You got Bray Wyatt, who was originally Husky Harris. You have Wade Barrett, who eventually branched out and made the worst faction in the history of WWE, the Core. With those awful T-shirts that they had. Probably the worst T-shirt WWE's ever created, too.
One of them.
But it's amazing what, since 2011, when the Nexus and the Core were actually relevant, how many guys have actually come out and become, I wouldn't say Bad News Barrett right now, but he's been in the limelight, but not to the extent of somebody like Daniel Bryan or Bray Wyatt. But back to the Cody Rhodes and Goldust versus Ryback. I personally see Ryback winning this match. I think something's going to happen post-match where Cody and Goldust are kind of pissed off at each other, eventually leading to a singles match at WrestleMania.
It has to be. And I know Goldust just tweeted that they're not facing each other, but as we all know, that means nothing.
No, absolutely not. You take it with a grain of salt.
It has to happen. It just has to. And they've already planted the seed when they lost, at the Rumble pre-show.
Right.
So, yeah, it's time for them to break up. And, give it a Goldust. He came back in the best shape of his life. He's looked amazing.
He looked better than I ever remember him seeing.
Honestly, he looked fantastic this whole run. But
and more credit to DDP. I mean...
is he another DDP guy? Yeah. Oh, my God. Diamond Dallas Page getting it
between
done.
Scott Hall, Goldust, Jake the Snake. I mean, he's done wonders for these guys.
Bringing these corpses back.
He's going to be on that show Shark Tank.
Oh, DDP is?
Yeah.
Promoting the yoga?
Yeah.
Good for him.
DVR and the crap out of that
one.
Sound like Randy Orton over here. Did you catch that on Raw a couple weeks ago, where Orton was? I forget who he's facing. This is
Cena.
So bad. Cena, thank you.
Yeah.
And it was the rematch of Cena and Orton a couple weeks after Rumble, and Orton did the trademark DDT where Cena's feet were on the second rope, but this time he did it on the third rope.
Ooh.
And he took him down, and he looks at the crowd, and he starts trolling the crowd. He goes, "How's that for same old shh?"
Yeah.
That just I don't know what that's
my boy.
Complete tangent, but when you said shh, it completely reminded me of that. Lee, what are your thoughts on that match?
I completely agree with you. I see Rhodes Brothers face off against WrestleMania.
Perfect. So we all agree that the Cody Rhodes and Goldust are going to go down.
Mm-hmm.
But the second match, we don't know if it's going to be the second match in order, but the next one I have listed here is Darren Young against Titus O'Neil. And Corey mentioned something earlier about Titus's promo on Raw and how he's kind of breaking out away from Darren Young into the beginning of a single career.
Yeah, I really liked his promo to Renee. I thought that he showed good charisma. I thought he had a good message. Darren's been holding me back, and it's not that he's been holding him back, but they haven't done anything in years. Not even a tag team title run at any point. So,
right.
I think this could be the start of something big for Titus. He's a Vince McMahon, cliche huge guy.
Yep.
So
kind of reminds me of like Bobby Lashley or somebody like that, with that build and size.
So I'd like to see what happens, and I wouldn't even be upset if Darren Young becomes a solid mid-carder. He seems like that type of guy that can carry the U.S. title, or, he could have pretty good competitive matches down there in the mid-card. So, I like this feud.
Right. For those of you who haven't seen or heard, Titus turned heel a couple weeks back and attacked Darren after losing a tag match where Titus never even got in the match. Since then, Titus has been proclaiming himself as a champion, and even though he holds no gold. But want to mention quickly, yes, that I am looking forward to Titus O'Neil as a singles guy. But why? The real question is, why have Darren and Titus in a match on the Elimination Chamber card when you're leaving guys off like Mark Henry, Dolph Ziggler, and other potential main event players, and not put them in some sort of program? I don't understand the booking, and the Dolph Ziggler's shoot promo on the WWE app a couple weeks ago may have actually screwed him. I mean, at that time, we thought it was great, and it was kind of like
great.
A pipe bomb.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him since.
I think he lost to Del Rio in 2 minutes.
Oh,
Yeah.
we have seen him briefly.
I just, I don't know. I don't get it. We need Ziggy to have a push sometime soon.
Thank Ryback for that, giving him another concussion a couple weeks ago. That stupid idiot. I hate that guy.
Oh, man. I mean, the last time SmackDown was in Boston was the SmackDown after WrestleMania last year, and who was the world champion? It was Dolph Ziggler.
I was there.
You know?
That's right.
It's nice.
It's,
He had no voice.
It's sad to see, and he got a concussion that night, I believe.
Yeah, he did.
In the match he was in, and they took the title off of him within a couple weeks.
Yep.
It's brutal. Poor guy's been busting his ass for years.
Nikki!
Perfectly said. I was just about to say, starting with the Spirit Squad as Nikki. But for somebody who's definitely put his time in with crappy gimmicks, like when he was Chavo Guerrero or Kerwin White's caddy.
Nicky Nemeth. That was
Nick
incredible.
Nemeth, yep. And it's sad to see somebody who's so good in the ring and very good on the mic not get any sort of recognition at all.
Almost forgot about that Kerwin White angle. All right, Chavo, you're from this very famous Mexican wrestling family. We're going to make you a white golfer.
I want some of that stuff that the creative team was on
Yeah.
when they pitched that idea.
That was pre-wellness, too. So, they could have been doing some funky stuff.
That's true. The next match I have listed here is one that I almost forgot about, and Lee almost forgot about. Can you guess which match this is?
Oh, you didn't know?
No, not that match.
Ah, damn, that would have been a great lead-in.
Touche. No, it's Batista against Alberto Del Rio.
Oh.
We were going over our predictions, and we were trying to. We were like, oh, there's one more match we're not thinking of. We can't think of what it is, and that was it. And because there's no point behind it, I don't see any way Batista doesn't win this match. I mean, he's already in the main event at WrestleMania. This is pretty much just like a glorified squash match. I mean, it's sad to put Del Rio in the squash category, but if Batista's already solidified in the main event of Mania, why make him look weak now?
I mean, Batista, listen, you look great. You do look great, but would it kill you to do 20 minutes of cardio per day? At the Royal Rumble, he was
terrible.
You don't like the heavy breathing?
And he came in at, what, 28?
Yeah.
Imagine if he came in at like 12.
Yeah.
And he was on the rope. He couldn't even do the WrestleMania sign point. He was so gassed.
And the Batista bomb, I forget who he gave it to, but it looked terrible. He doesn't do the sit-down thing anymore, which made it look even more powerful.
Yeah, it's
just a regular power bomb. Why is it a Batista bomb now?
It's the skinny jeans. Gets in the way.
Wow.
I mean, but I do like him as a heel. I thought his heel run at the end, at his last run when he was going against Cena was some of his best work. I loved it. I thought it was hilarious.
I think WWE is trying way too hard to make him a face because the crowd is begging for him to be a heel.
Yeah.
Simple as that. They were pissed off that he won the Royal Rumble. They're pissed off that he was gone for 4 years and appeared on one Raw, and all of a sudden he's in the main event at WrestleMania. Everybody's pissed off at him, and what better way to start a heel run than already have everyone pissed off at you?
Yeah, it seems like, I'll play wait and see on this one, but yeah, he needs to be heel. Batista's a face, at least at this point, not working for me.
No, I agree, 100%.
He should have came back in a wheelchair.
Yeah, and a pink polo with a pop collar again.
Yeah.
There's rumors that are flying around that Alberto Del Rio intends on leaving WWE when his contract expires soon. So I
don't blame him.
I can't see WWE putting Del Rio over Batista in this spot in any way, shape, or form.
Back to his mansion in Mexico. That's where he wants to be.
The aristocrat. Driving hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of cars.
He does have about $85 million worth of cars, which is impressive to me.
Because all the different cars he came out with over the years, I mean, there's no way they're rentals, right?
No, he's a Mexican aristocrat. Come on. It's still real to me.
The next match I have on our docket is Big E, and I'm going to leave it at that because he did have his name change, very similar to Antonio Cesaro, who is now being called just Cesaro. Big E will be taking on Jack Swagger for the Intercontinental Championship.
Why does every black superstar need to have a stupid rap song as their entrance song?
I agree.
Big E's song is terrible.
I like it.
I hate it.
I like it.
Primetime Players.
I did like their song.
The original one.
The original one.
I didn't like
great.
the original one of that.
No?
See?
Move, get it.
Yep.
Love that.
Yep. Millions of dollars.
Yeah, they're great. Big E's. Well, I guess we have a difference of opinion here. Lee really likes the music. I don't.
I'm not a big fan either.
I'm not a big fan of him in general as a face. I think he's a better heel. I'm not really buying this face run.
I did like him when he was kind of Dolph Ziggler's handler. Obviously, he needs to branch away from that and do something bigger for himself. But
that's true.
In that role where he's just like this mean, incredibly tough dude, like that's what he needs to be. He doesn't look like a babyface.
No.
When he was on NXT, he was a heel.
Was he?
He was great as a heel.
Nice. See, Lee's an NXT connoisseur, and she's seen
Canadian or something? What's going on?
I am Canadian, but
wait, I didn't know this.
You didn't know I was
Were
Canadian?
you excited about today's victory?
No,
okay.
I wasn't.
So then you're not really Canadian. So like I said, the name change says it all. Vince shortening from Big E Langston to Big E just kind of screams push, and Jack Swagger has clearly been on the lesser of the Real Americans team, and his time has kind of passed after he got the Money in the Bank and had the pot bust.
Had to smoke that weed, Jack.
That was the end of him, and I don't think he'll ever reach that point of his career again.
Yeah, I mean, I have written down here, I think Zeb has been slapping him in the face or something to motivate him.
I love Zeb.
Oh, Zeb. I could do a whole show on Zeb.
Yes.
He's one of my favorite people on the planet. He's a role model of mine. Our views line up exactly the same.
Do you walk around holding signs up against Mexican
Deport
immigrants?
Santa Claus. This is one of my favorite WWE moments of the year.
Oh, that's awesome.
But hopefully, for me, I want to see the Real Americans break up because I think it's time for
me too.
Just Cesaro to elevate himself. And I think this is the first step with his match coming up this weekend.
I completely agree. Moving on, we get a little bit of a time crunch here because I definitely want to get to the main events. But New Age Outlaws against the Usos. What's going to happen in that match?
Usos have to win. New Age Outlaws, good transitional champs. Take the belts off the Brotherhood. It's Usos time. Love the Usos. Love Total Divas. John Uso is the man.
I have New Age Outlaws winning.
Ooh,
I do too.
I see them.
They probably will. I'm always wrong.
Yeah.
I think the New Age Outlaws have done everything to avoid the rematch with the Usos, but this time around, I don't think they can't run. However, I do see the New Age Outlaws retaining with the feud culminating at WrestleMania, and the Usos winning the tag titles there and not at Elimination Chamber.
They need to put ass back into their entrance theme, too.
Yeah,
you better call somebody. It's terrible.
Doesn't sound
your
good at all.
Your ass needs to call somebody. Not just you. Your ass needs to.
Just sit on your phone and make your ass call somebody.
But that's what that theme's about. I don't know if you guys knew that.
That's very PG. I like that. That's a good translation. Hey, kids, your ass better call somebody. We're just talking about butt dials. It's fine. Let's see what Wyatt family versus the Shield.
Bloodbath.
Like
war.
War.
Agreed.
People are going to die, according to Bray.
On a hill.
Some deaths on Sunday night.
The Dean Ambrose death match.
Yes.
The Shield has been seemingly having internal issues lately between Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose. Roman's been calling Dean out a lot lately. I see the Wyatts coming out on top in a hellacious matchup that might end up all over the arena, which would be awesome. The Wyatts have their sights set on John Cena, or at least Bray does, which may be foreshadowing a Bray Wyatt John Cena WrestleMania 30
interesting
matchup. What do you guys think about that?
Completely agree. I think Ambrose is going to cost them the match.
Yep, we were discussing that earlier.
Yeah. It just makes sense that Ambrose would cost them the match.
I'm going to predict it detailed now.
All right, detailed.
Dean's going to hit Roman in the back while Dean's holding the rope. Going to hit him in the back, get in the match. Roman's going to look at him and see, like, oh, why the hell did you do that? Dean's going to turn around. Bray's going to hit him with the Sister Abigail. End of the match.
Yeah, Wyatts need to go over in this match.
Absolutely. How can they not?
They have to. And what's the redhead's name? Is it Rollins? No, not
Eric Rowan.
Rowan. Yeah, he sucks. That's my comment on him. His hair is disgusting. His beard, as a man with a beard, he disgraces everyone with beards. His beard hair in his mouth. Like, I understand he's supposed to look gross. Trim that up. D-Bry trims his up. He still looks ragged. Come on.
D-Bry trims up the top lip because Bree doesn't like it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
I heard that on when Brian was on Stone Cold's podcast. He said exactly that.
I didn't even know that.
Yes.
Little known information. Because Stone Cold was praising him for his beard, and he's saying it's a great look for your kid, and Bray was. I'm sorry, I got distracted. There's a cat.
Cat doing a run in right now.
Cat wants to be the fourth man in on the podcast.
It's not the Cat, not Jerry the King Lawler's ex-wife. It's just the feline, an animal. Just if anyone's confused.
Corey, you're killing me over here. I'm trying not to laugh right into the microphone. What were we just saying before? I'm sorry. I'm so distracted.
I think we were wrapping up the Wyatt.
Oh, yes.
Shield.
We were talking about Daniel Bryan and
right, so cool.
trimming his beard.
Yep.
Anyway, so we all are in agreement. We see the Wyatts going over in this match.
Yeah, and then Reigns should spear Ambrose right after the match.
Oh, that'd be
awesome.
awesome. Yeah. That would be awesome. Although I would be very pissed off if it's not all three members of the Shield at the meet and greet. I'll be very upset. I plan on having our sign that I ordered. I plan on having a sign that I ordered signed by them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna see if I can even finagle one of them to say something about the podcast on a recording.
Just
cut some of Roman's hair off.
Just be like, hey, this is Roman Reigns. You're listening to ATB Wrestling. That'd be awesome. We're bringing the noise on the ATB Wrestling podcast.
Yeah.
Listen to the podcast with Bill and baby girl Lee. We can dream.
Yep.
Anyway, the main event of the evening, so-called, will be the actual Elimination Chamber match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And it features Randy Orton, who is the champion, John Cena, Sheamus, Daniel Bryan, Cesaro, and Christian. I think this match is going to surprise some people because a lot of people think Daniel Bryan is going to go over because of the Yes movement and everything that's going on with him and people clamoring for it. But I see Randy Orton walking out of Elimination Chamber with the strap. He's done awful in the gauntlet matches recently. The only one he defeated was Christian out of the other 4 opponents that he's facing in Elimination Chamber. And he's already had a couple of run-ins with Batista backstage, seemingly kind of setting up for a potential Orton-Batista matchup at WrestleMania, which I don't want to see. Mm-hmm. We've seen it before.
Snooze fest.
Exactly. Orton's going to have to work his ass off.
Yeah. And I think I'm in agreement with you. I mean, I could see... Orton's lost too much recently to not retain. Outside chance, little fantasy booking again here. When Christian comes out, his stupid music, and CM Punk comes out and smashes him in the face, pulls like an Edge, whenever he did that, just gets in the pod, and he's in the match. Because Christian is dead weight. Loved you, Christian. Loved you at WrestleMania 14 when I was 10, but no, I'm not 10 anymore. Time to go, bud.
WrestleMania 16 in the 3-way TLC match.
That was
the
amazing.
Hardys and the Dudleys.
That was amazing.
One of my favorite matches of all time.
Really?
But Christian, I love you, like Corey said, but no.
Just not in the main event. You can chill in the mid card, fine by me. But you
go
get
for
out
the
of the chamber.
go for the U.S. or the Intercontinental or something.
Yeah,
but
put Ziggy in the chamber or something.
U.S.
Ziggy in the chamber would be insane. That guy would kill himself with the bumps he takes.
He'd be concussed so fast.
He would die. Somebody would spear him on the metal
head.
grate outside the ring.
His whole body would be cut open.
Yeah, and I would love to see it.
No.
Not that I would love to see it, but I think he would be incredible in that spot. And why not put somebody like Mark Henry, like we were saying before? Why not put somebody like Mark Henry or Dolph Ziggler or anybody in the spot instead of Christian? It doesn't really make sense as far as booking goes.
It doesn't add up having him in there.
No, it's just kind of like a last second throw in almost.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you see? Obviously, if Randy Orton wins, it's going to be Orton and Batista. Who knows if it's going to possibly be a triple threat of some sort?
That's what I want.
I would love to see that too. But where do you think everybody else in the match is going to end up going after this match?
I mean, I guess the easy one's D-Bry versus Triple H. If he somehow gets screwed, Christian goes back to the old folks' home.
Do you think it's Triple H that does the screwing, or do you think it's Kane?
Ooh, it could be Kane. I'm
tired of seeing Kane.
I do not want to see D-Bry versus Kane in Mania. That would be terrible.
No.
Although Kane has been lifting a lot. Think about McGillicuddy's body. Opposite of that. Kane has been getting in there and after it. So good for him.
Kane looks good. I don't know how old he is, but he was
44.
Was Dr. Isaac Yankem before he was Kane?
That's right.
And
Fake Diesel.
Fake Diesel, and he debuted in WWE in 1997. That's
I was in kindergarten.
17 years ago. He's got to be in his 40s, right?
Yeah, I think he's well into his 40s.
Yeah.
You say he's 44?
44.
Yeah.
44. I mean, it's incredible what he's been able to do, and surefire Hall of Famer someday.
Although I was thinking, maybe D-Bry wins and the Authority backs Batista, and it's the Authority's guy versus the Yes Movement.
That's an interesting
guy can dream over here, right?
No, I mean that's not too far off from potential reality. You never know.
I have the Wyatts, Bray, distracting Cena at some point during that match.
To kind of get things going on a Cena Bray Wyatt match at WrestleMania.
Oh yeah.
I like that too. Because that's what I said earlier. But
that Punk thing would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, I don't see that happening at all.
No. I mean, like Corey's been saying, it's dream booking. We can dream, and it would be awesome, and it would be probably the greatest ending to a pay-per-view of all time.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't see that happening.
And what's going to happen with Sheamus? I mean, who's he going to face at WrestleMania?
I think he's going to go off into some sort of feud with Christian.
Ugh.
And it's awful. But
awful.
I don't know.
I mean, if Sheamus goes heel for it, though, I could get behind that.
See, I didn't like Sheamus as a heel.
Oh, really?
No.
I remember one match against Orton for the title where he tried to go for the pin, didn't get it, and did like the, wow, no. He's like knocking his hands. Obviously, people listening have no idea what he's doing. But
Corey's moving his hands in an upward
baby,
downward motion.
Like smashing the ground. I believe the guy in Rookie of the Year did it after he K'd against Henry Rowan Gardner in that last at-bat.
Oh, my God, I can picture that. That's so
funny. Exact same
funny.
motion is what Sheamus did.
Was he making that noise, too?
I think he was saying, no. This one's for mommy.
Corey, you and your references. Amazing. I love that movie, and I do remember that scene vividly. That's why I'm dying over here. Did we cover every match? I think we did.
I believe we did, yes.
And then we got Cody Rhodes, Goldust versus Curtis Axel and Ryback. We got Darren Young versus Titus O'Neil. You got the Wyatts and the Shield, Batista Del Rio, Big E and Jack Swagger, New Age Outlaws and the Usos, and Randy Orton, Cena, Sheamus, Bryan, Cesaro, Christian in the Elimination Chamber. We covered everything. Anything else you guys have on your dockets you want to add?
I have one thing, and
sure.
I'm talking a lot about guys' bodies today.
It's fine.
But hey, it's in the
I
context
know you're
of
comfortable
wrestling.
with it.
Yeah. Billy Gunn looks good. He's
does.
50. He's going to be 51 in November, and he doesn't look that bad. He doesn't have that weird old wrestler hair where it's like two strings coming off like Shawn Michaels.
Like Lex Luger and Dolph Ziggler almost.
Yeah, exactly.
That weird bleached look.
He looks decent, so I'll give him that.
Yeah.
See anybody else's bodies on here? Nope, just them. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, right. I mean, both of them look great. I can't believe the run that they're going on right now. They're even doing the non-televised live events.
Oh, really?
I mean, those guys are going 4 or 5 days a week now. It's impressive.
Voodoo Kin Mafia.
Because the event I'm going to in New Jersey that I mentioned earlier, that the New Age Outlaws are on the card. Oh. It's incredible what they're doing right now at their age. After being away for 13, 14 years. Obviously, Road Dogg wasn't away. He was doing his backstage thing, and Billy Gunn was in TNA and doing what he had to do. But it's amazing that these guys can come out for after that long, especially after the run they had with DX.
Oh, yeah.
To come out and still do what they do and do it well. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Billy Gunn's real name's Kip Sop. Weird name. Just want to throw that out there.
Kip Sop Anonymous? I had to do it. I had to. It just sounds too much similar to that line.
I'm stealing that tonight.
Is that going to be your new Twitter handle?
Kip Sop Anonymous. I can't even say it. Kip Sop Anonymous?
Well played. Anything else, guys?
Nope.
All right, I have a little bit of exciting news on my end. On Saturday, I'm going to be calling in, and I'll be appearing on this weekend's WEI WrestleCast with Sock and Holly's producer Ben Kitchen and my friend Scott Sudikoff, who hosts that show, to discuss Elimination Chamber. I'm pretty pumped about that.
That's
We can plug our show. We can. I'm going to discuss Elimination Chamber, give my predictions. Although you'll probably hear most of them on our show already, but they have a much bigger audience than we do. They're actually going to have Mick Foley on next week.
That's awesome.
Ben was telling me last night that Mick's going to be doing some comedy in the area, I guess, and he's trying to promote it. And they reached out to them saying, "Would you like to have Mick on so he could promote?" So that's pretty cool. And when Ben was telling me, I thought I was going to be on the same show as Mick Foley, but that didn't quite work out.
Scott Sudikoff also, at least he was when I was there, Tufts PA basketball men's and
still
women's.
Is.
Yeah, I used to work security at those games.
Yeah.
Really tough job. You know, those D3 basketball games, the crowd is wild. Mm-hmm. It's filled. No, there's like nobody there ever.
I've never been over to Tufts, but I do a bunch of PA too, so I've gotten to know Scott very well. He's also the play-by-play guy for the Boston Breakers, which I do PA for. So that's how I know Scott, and Ben I've known because I work in the promotions department over at EI. But I'm very excited to be going on their show. I've wanted to do it since they started it. But I was working with Ben last night and got to talking. We kind of told each other we'd promote each other on each one of our podcasts. And you guys can follow them, the WEI WrestleCast. And just exactly how I said it, it's at WEI WrestleCast on Twitter. You can follow Ben at YoungBenWEI. And you can follow Scott. His Twitter handle is at Sudikoff, SUDIKOFF. We're going to do some cross-promotion, and it should be fun. But you guys have anything else to add?
I'll just plug my Twitter account here.
Oh, I was going to plug it in a minute, but go for it.
You're the pro plugger.
Go
I
for
want
it.
you to do it.
Corey, right. What's your Twitter account?
All right, it's at CT, P as in Pontes, because that's my last name. O as in, oh, you didn't know, NTES. I have a ton of followers, over 200. I know it's extreme. If you tweet at me, I'll try to get back to you within a month, but we'll see.
God. I got to have you on more often. Although you're killing me with this laughing. I got to keep muting my mic.
Where's the cough button? Yeah, come on.
Exactly. I'm not that technologically advanced yet. I bought all this stuff on Amazon, and sadly, our podcast sound quality is worlds better than all the other podcasts out right now.
I completely agree.
Not so much like Adam Carolla or like Nerdist or those guys, but Stone Cold's isn't that good. JR's is terrible. I don't know if you heard it.
They have a setup just like us.
Right, and I just don't understand like how a 26-year-old kid can go on Amazon, buy all this stuff, and set it all up himself and have a very professional-sounding podcast, but these guys who have all this money coming into them and a professional studio, it sounds like crap, and I just don't get it. So I'm proud. I'm very happy the way this has turned out. This is our 4th show, and hopefully many, many, many more to come, and many more guests to come. I'm sure Corey will definitely be back.
Oh, absolutely. I love hearing my own voice.
So. You'll be able to hear it in about half an hour or so when we get it online.
Excellent. I'm going to share the shit. I'm going to say shit. I'm going to share the shit out of that once it's up.
That's totally fine. Trust me. There's no FCC regulations on this show.
Nope.
But that's going to do it for After the Bell episode 4. Remember, folks, you can hear our show both on our YouTube channel and our official website. You can find our YouTube page at youtube.com/ATBWrestling. Our official website can be found at atbwrestling.com, which now contains MP3 versions of our podcast as well as Lee's blog. You can follow Lee and I on Twitter. I'm Bill_Neville, and she's WWE_LCM. Our guest, Corey, once again, is on Twitter at CTPontes. That's CTPONTES. And, of course, the After the Bell show is on Twitter at ATB Wrestling. And until next week, I'm Bill.
And I'm Lee.
And this has been After the Bell.